Welcome to my channel. Here are the materials you'll need. 1 skein of Eternal Bliss in mustard color. You're not going to use this entire skein, but it's a cozy blanket yarn from Loops and Threads, and it's in Java color. 2 strands of this around 12 inches long Chunky Chenille black yarn, your hot glue, stick, scissors, lighter, and your polyfill. When you have all these materials ready, let's jump right into it. First, leave at least 14 inches tail, then cast on 12. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Pull your cast on stitches into a circle. Then knit through each of the top loops. Insert your finger, grab your working yarn, and pull it through. Insert your finger, grab your working yarn, and pull it through. All right, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. For the next 7 rows, you're going to knit 12. Make sure to fold it over so you won't get big gaps in between your stitches. Also, to make it look more professional and high quality, knit tight. That will keep your polyfill from popping out and from being visible outside. I'm gonna go ahead and do 7 more rows. For this row, we're going to decrease our stitches. So this is your last loop. Take your first and second loops together and knit through both. Then you're gonna do the same thing for the next 2 loops. Take both of them together and knit through both. You should now have a total of 6 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Knit 6 for 4 more rows. Once you're done with your 4th row, cut at least 20-inch tail. Then put it aside. Now we're gonna make the head. Leave at least 10 inches tail. Cast on 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pull your cast on stitches into a circle. Then knit through each of the top loops. Insert your finger, grab your working yarn, and pull it through. You should have a total of 10 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Knit 10 for 5 more rows. To attach the other yarn, I'm going to cut this tail first. Grab the other yarn and trim the end. You can do whichever joining method you prefer. You can also do the tie a knot method where you can just take both tails and tie a knot. But for this project, I'm going to use the burning method. I'm gonna burn each end of the tails. Then join both ends. And massage it. Massage it for like 5 to 8 seconds. Then tug it to make sure they're attached. Next, take your first and second loops together and knit through both. Knit through the next loop. Take the next 2 loops and knit through both of them. Do the same thing for the next 2 loops. Then knit through the next loop. Take your last 2 loops and knit through both. You should now have a total of 6 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Knit 6 4 more times. Once you're done with the 4th row, leave at least 10-inch tail, then cut your yarn. Insert the tail through all the loops, from inside to outside. pull it as you're going, but don't pull it too hard. When you went through all the loops, pull it until you fully close the gap. I'm gonna go through my first 2 loops one more time. Then tie the tail to one of the stitches here. Do it one more time. Tie a knot. Then tuck it inside. Now fill this with your polyfill. To close this up, take the tail and insert it through each of the top loops. Insert it from inside to outside. Then you're going to pull it and snug it as you're going. Go through some of the loops a few more times until you fully close this up. Then tie the tail to one of the stitches. Weave it in. Tie it to one of the stitches one more time, then tuck it inside. Eyeball where you want to place the ossicones. Take your yarn. Leave at least 6-inch tail. Then pull a loop through the stitch where you want to place the first ossicone. Then pull another loop through the back stitch of this first loop. Now you have 2 loops. Knit 2 for 2 more rows. Then cut the tail. Grab the other yarn. Trim the end. Then join both ends using the burning method. Knit 2 for 1 row. 1 and 2. Take both loops together and knit through both. Now you have one loop left. Leave at least 5 inches tail and then cut your yarn. Insert it back through the loop and pull it. Take the tail and insert it through the loops here and pull it. Tie the tail to one of the stitches at the back. Tie a knot. Then tuck it inside. Take this other tail and tie it to one of the stitches. Weave it in. Tie it to one of the stitches one more time. Tie a knot. Then tuck it inside. Now it's time to make the other Aussie cone. Next, eyeball where you want to place the eyes. Then grab your yarn. Insert it through the stitch where you want to place the first eye and pull it through. Tie a knot 3 times. That's 1, 2, 3. Then tuck the tails inside. Do the same thing for the other eye. For the ears, eyeball where you want to place the ears of your giraffe. Then grab your working yarn. Leave at least 5 inches tail. Then pull a loop through the stitch where you want to place it. Then pull another loop through the stitch next to it. Now you have 2 loops. Knit 2 for 2 rows. That's 1. That's 2. Then take both loops together and knit through both. Now you have 1 loop left. Leave at least 6 inches tail, then cut your yarn. take the tail and insert it back through that last loop and pull it. And then you're going to weave in the tail until you reach the beginning stitches right here. Tie these tails and tie a knot a few more times. Then tuck in the tails. Now it's time to make the other ear. Now we're going to close the bottom of your giraffe's body. Take the tail and insert it through each of the top loops right here. You're going to pull it and snug it as you're going. You will have to do that until you fully closed the gap. Go through some of the loops a few more times until you fully close the gap. Tie the tail to one of the stitches here. Do it one more time. Tie a knot, then tuck it inside. Now fill this with your polyfill. For this row, we're going to connect the head and the neck. First, position the head how you want to connect it to its neck. If you have clips, you can clip each loop to the head to keep it in place. We're going to sew the head and the neck using this tail. Insert the tail through the stitch right here. Then pull it through. Then insert this tail through the loop right here, from inside to outside, and then pull it. Just don't pull it too tight. Then we're gonna do the same thing for the next loop. We're gonna take the tail, insert it through the stitch here, and pull it through. Then insert it through the loop, pull it. Then you're going to do that through all the loops left. Now that they're connected, we're going to go through all the loops one more time. Insert the tail and pull it through. Then tie the tail to one of the stitches. Do it one more time. Tie a knot. Then tuck the remaining tail inside. Leave at least 5 inches tail. Then pull a loop through the stitch where you want to place the first arm of your giraffe. So you want to place it here. I'm going to pull a loop right there. Then you're going to pull another loop through the stitch next to it. Now you have 2 loops. Next, knit one more, pull a loop one more time through the stitch, through the back stitch of this loop right here. Pull a loop right there. Now you have 3 loops. Knit 3 for 3 more rows. One, two, 3. Then cut the tail. Then connect the other yarn using the burning method. Knit 3 for 4 more rows. Cut around 6-inch tail. Then insert it through all the loops. Pull to close it up. Insert the tail through the loops here. Then you're going to insert it back through that loop and pull it. Weave in the tail. Then tie it to one of the stitches. Then tuck it in. Take the other tail and tie it to one of the stitches. Tie a knot and tuck it inside. Pull a loop through the stitch where you want to place the first leg. Make sure to leave at least 6 inches tail. Then pull another loop through the stitch next to it. Now you have 2 loops. Then you're going to pull another loop through the back stitch of this loop. Then pull a loop through the back stitch of this loop. Now you have a total of 4 loops. You're going to knit 4 for 3 more rows. Once you're done with your 3rd row, cut your yarn and attach the brown yarn. Knit 4 for 5 more rows. Cut around 6-inch tail. Then insert it through all the loops. Pull the tail to close it up. Go through the loops here. Go through that loop one more time and pull. Tie the tail to one of the stitches. Tie a knot. Then tuck it in. Take this other tail, then tie it to one of the stitches. Tie a knot, then tuck in the tail. Now go ahead and make the other leg. For the tail, cast on 3. 1, 2, 3. Keep the last loop on your finger. Insert your finger through the first stitch. Grab your working yarn and pull it. Now you have 2 loops. Now flip it to the other side. Pull a loop through this stitch right here. Now you have 3 loops. Knit 3 for 2 more rows. So that's 1, 2, 3 stitches. Let's just cut this long tail. Make sure that when you knit that it stays inside. And then 1 more row. 1, 2. Make sure to knit as tight as possible. 1, 2, 3. Then leave around 5 inches tail, then cut your yarn. Insert the tail through all the loops. 2, 3, and pull. And then you're going to tie a knot. Then leave at least an inch tail. Then cut your yarn. Next, we're going to connect these tails using the burning method. Then you're going to make a chain of 6. Cut around 8 inches tail. Insert it through the last loop. Then pull. To attach the tail to the body, insert the yarn through the stitch where you want to place the tail. Then pull it. Tie the tail to one of the stitches. Weave it in. Then tie it again to one of the stitches one more time. Tie a knot. Then tuck the tail inside. For the spots, start off by swirling your yarn. Then apply hot glue at the back of it. Apply more hot glue on the area where you want to place it. Add more glue as you swirl up your yarn, depending how big you want the spot to be. Gently press it. Then tuck in the excess yarn. Secure it by applying hot glue in that stitch. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. See you later!